I uh, need a new filming location or seat, something. 'Cause, my God, it is difficult to get this thing set up every day. And then the whole autofocus thing. I need a camera whose focus I can control with like a dial. I know they exist, but they're stupid expensive. You'd figure there'd be a Wi-Fi and software solution for all of this at this point in time, 2023. For hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily cup of genre here on the Genreverse YouTube channel. It is time to talk about anything and everything here in geek and pop culture, entertainment news, as I try to cover up the fact that I was just about to do our AVR Squared introduction. What's AVR Squared? That's our anime reaction series, which you can check out right here on the Genreverse YouTube channel. So give us a subscribe, leave some comments, thumbs up or down. Lots of great content besides Daily Cog. We have Breaking Geek Radio, which does usually a little bit longer form podcast reviewing all sorts of stuff here. And yeah, we have Star Wars shows. We were covering the Wheel of Time on a series specific we call the Dragon Reviewed, anime reactions, and more. If they're not reaction videos, all of our podcasts go up on all of your favorite podcast apps, such as Spotify. So please do follow us there. And again, leave comments, reviews, thumbs up, down, things like that. We do have merch, link in the description box down below. You can get all these prints on more than just t-shirts, mugs, and paper pads, and it's Redbubble, so it's really cool. There's a lot there. I've got a few prints. They're awesome, and we are coming into the spooky month, and we are going to be doing some horror reviews as part of the Genreverse's 13 Days of Terror. So reviews going up each day, starting on the 19th through the 31st. Movies that we're basically recommending to you guys, and I hope you all check that out. And of course, lrmonline.com every day for all written news, reviews, celebrity interviews, and more. And what I always like to do here on the Daily Cup of Genre is take a trip around the LRM online homepage and talk about a few stories that we have going on. So we do cover everything. As you can see, there's Marvel and comic books, fantasy. We have a lot of celebrity interviews from the LRM YouTube channel, so we get a lot of what I like to jokingly call hoity-toity stuff as well. Merchandise, tech, you name it, lrmonline.com. We'll cover it. A couple of stories that went up yesterday dealing with Marvel. Actually, today's a pretty Marvel-heavy day. Fantastic Four director Matt Shakman had some words to say about casting for the movie, and this came from Collider. Cam Clark wrote it up on lrmonline.com. It says, when asked about casting and stuff like that, he said, hard to say. Like I said, we're in the middle of a SAG strike, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they get a great deal really soon and we can go back. Then once that's resolved, there'll be a plan at that point, but I can't say too much. There will be an announcement at some point. I know that the internet is very excited to find out, and I'm excited to share it. I just can't do it yet. It sounds like he's got an idea of who his cast is. Maybe some of them have signed on. Maybe some of them have not. There's a lot of buzz around Vanessa Kirby or to be in a lock for Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. But we'll have to wait and see. None of my fan castings are going to happen. It's a bit too late for the fan castings that I had originally wanted. I thought someone like Ewan McGregor we're talking like in the earliest days of MCU, the thought of MCU Fantastic Four, even before the sale, like a Ewan McGregor for Mr. Fantastic would have been great. But these days, my number one pick for Johnny Storm would have been Dacre Montgomery, the gentleman that played Jason the Red Ranger in the Power Rangers movie, and of course Billy on Stranger Things. When asked about filming, says basically we're hoping to go in front of camera early next year, spring. I don't have a lot of love for the MCU these days. I had an idea of what I thought the movie should be, and it sounds like, according to some rumors, we might get that, which is they're out of time, maybe in the 1960s, but not that they freeze in time or anything like that, but they go into a dimension or universe where time just acts differently. So while it may only be 10 years for them when they leave 616 in the 60s, they come back, it's, the 2020s, 60 years has passed by on Earth. For them, it was only 10. Hell, I would even have, is it Valeria, I think is the daughter's name, or is it just Valerie, and Franklin already be born. They would have had all sorts of adventures as the Fantastic Four in this other timeline, and that allows you to get into the nitty-gritty of the family aspect of them, having to have lived out there as a family, and then you bring them back here to Earth, and trying to readjust and get used to things. And, as someone that was in the Army and Army brat, that whole idea of moving and uprooting everything that you've known for years on end, I can relate to something like that. So, of course, it'd be fantastical for the the Fantastic Four. But yeah, there's more on that story, lrmonline.com, of course. Another story dealing with Marvel, Daredevil Born Again. There's a little bit of casting news for Daredevil as I'm marking down some timestamps. Tony Soprano's son, his real life son, Michael Gandolfini, is set to portray Daniel Blade in Daredevil Born Again. He's Kingpin's assistant, director of communications. Sorry. Said assistant, director of communications. Can we get some toast using crediting Scarlet Witch update for the copyright page on Michael Gandolfini being named there, for those that can't see the YouTube channel. And as I'm looking at my window here, I kind of changed the sizing of the browser windows. So if something got covered up, I'm sorry. I'll try to make some additional adjustments over the next day or two. I'll have to try to remember. I don't have a lot of faith in Daredevil. I'm a big fan of the Netflix series, and I was not a big fan of what we got in She-Hulk. And my biggest issue with the walk of shame bit was him walking in costume. Like, I wouldn't have minded Matt, doing the walk of shame as Matt, but in costume, that was a bit too far. Just not in character. I like to think that nothing in She-Hulk actually freaking happened because of the whole fourth wall breaking and talking to Kevin thing. I like to pretend that it doesn't exist, but it does. No, Daredevil's gonna be hard to sell in a PG-13 TV 14 way. I didn't like Kingpin in the Hawkeye show. I don't really think I'm gonna care for him in Echo, and like I said, I don't have a lot of faith for Daredevil Born Again. I would love to be wrong. Hopefully, I am. I still haven't even watched Loki yet, and that's what we're going to be talking about next. Is Disney throwing out that, hey, Loki's been this huge success for us. Second most streamed series premiere, 10.9 million views, and this is coming from the Walt Disney Company themselves. 10.9 million views after 3 days. It's the biggest premiere since season 3 of The Mandalorian, which, you know, when you're thinking of big things in 2023, whoop-de-doo, I don't know, man. The thing about these streaming numbers is Disney, like all streaming services, they're the only ones with them. And there's all sorts of third-party things to kind of keep an eye on good estimates, we'll say. But we also don't know how Disney counts all of its subscribers, and this isn't just Disney Plus at this point. This is everything. They for example, you sit there and you put out this information to bolster reports in the news for shareholders, raise your prices, make them some money. Hey, the subscription thing is good, right? Well, not necessarily. How many people subscribed and watched, and they're going to be subscribed for the next 6 weeks, and then they drop it because they're done. Loki's done, right? How many are on ad supported versus not ads supported? How many are on long-term subscription, like they paid for the full year? All of this matters because of how fluid your subscription numbers can be at that point. For example, what if someone when they promote subscriber numbers and showing views is good. Like I said, I'm not just on Disney Plus or this Loki thing anymore. When they show things like subscriber numbers, how many of them are actively watching? Because you see, I paid originally when Disney Plus first started for the 3-year deal where you got it for like $2.99 a month or something like that. But there would be times where weeks would go by without me ever starting up the program. How much do I really count then as a subscriber? You know what I'm saying? How many people out there have long-term subscriptions and they're not actively watching? So always my point being is take subscription numbers, whether it's watch hours, watch numbers, viewers, there's the word, or subscribers, because they can be cooked to spin. And I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying it can be, and we don't know. Only thing we do know is that streaming has cost Disney money, to the tune of, in their most recent fiscal reports, of $500 million in losses for direct to consumer. That's not a small chunk of change. That's quite a bit. And we know that they're going to be instituting password sharing restrictions and cracking down on that, starting in Canada, of all places, next month, November. Hey, it worked for Netflix. They actually saw an increase in subscriptions when they cracked down. We know that streaming is tough. It's been tough for Netflix. It's been tough for Warner Brothers, Max, HBO, and we know it's been tough for Disney. So take all reports of streaming numbers with a grain of salt and try to bounce off of things. Loki's enjoying relatively positive reviews. I think I read it had an 88 on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics. I do plan to check out the first episode at some point. I didn't watch any of Secret Invasion. I'm almost all done with the MCU. It's just no longer my my bag baby. But hey, maybe Loki will end up being really good. Season 1 was really good. You guys can check out these stories and more here at lrmonline.com. Be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel if you are watching us. All that great content there. All of the podcasts go up on your favorite podcast app, so please do give us a follow on there so you can always keep up with the reviews and news shows, news in air quotes. I mean, it is, but I'm not like trying to be like I'm more of a commentator. I'm not reporting the news, so to speak. And of course our Genreverse Redbubble link in the description box below. And yes, if you are into horror movies, keep an eye out for the 13 Days of Terror starting on October 19th. It's been fun. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.